Today, throughout the world, there are 639 unengaged, unreached people groups with a population of over 100,000. 310 of these groups are located in India. One local church in India has taken the initiative to engage one of these people groups and has seen wonderful results in just a very short time. In fact, the story of how this church has reached out to the Parja people in Orissa, India, is an example and a model to all of us who want to find a local partner to work with in engaging a people group. In the last 6 months since the Parjas have been selected and engaged, 4 churches have been started and 18 prayer cells have been formed. 58 people have been baptized. 2 schools have been started that are serving 162 children in 2 of the 12 villages where they're working. They've also started serving these children midday meals and are teaching them the basic principles of hygiene and health. Here's how it began. In April of 2006, Daniel Ebenezer, a pastor in the area, began to visit tribal villages in rural areas of Orissa. As he saw the tremendous physical and spiritual needs, he was overwhelmed with compassion and started praying that God would help him to reach out somehow to this remote people group. He began meeting with local Christians and presented them with the real need to send someone who would share Christ with this group. One local church in the area, near the Parja people, started praying that the Lord would raise up workers who would move into the Parja villages and begin to minister to the people. As Daniel talked with these Christian leaders, the church selected 5 people living near the Parja area to go and minister. One of them was Mr. Siwak Garuda, who's half Parsian. He was appointed leader of the team. All of the workers were then given a short training on church planting, evangelism, and discipleship, and then were sent out by the local church. Siwak and his team did a thorough survey of the Parja people group. They discovered that there were over 410,000 Parja in India, but that the heaviest concentration was in 3 different districts. They then identified a group of 12 villages that were exclusively occupied by the Parja as their initial target for church planting. In the area they selected, they found that the people were living in extreme poverty. Their villages were surrounded on all 4 sides by water. They were living on a virtual island. More than 750 families were living in these 12 villages, nearly 5,000 people. They found that there were over 1,000 children under the age of 15. There was no school for these children, no doctors, no transportation, no phones, little electricity. At the entrance of every village, there is an altar to the earth god. The Parja are animists and burn incense and pray to the earth. They believe that the earth god keeps them away from evil. The deities and spirits are appeased continually to protect the village from epidemics, the threat of wild animals, and natural disasters. The Parja also observe religious festivals at different seasons of the year, in which they beg the spirits for good crops and protection from evil. And each village has a witch doctor who wields great power over the people of the village. The Parja people are extremely superstitious, and many of their superstitions are interwoven into their daily lives. They live in small, one-room mud huts. There's no work in the winter months and during the rainy season in these remote villages. In the summer months, the only work they have is cutting firewood for the little hostels in the nearby towns. Every bit of the money they earn goes for food. And the only mode of travel that they have for much of the year is in small wooden boats. In parts of the year, the rivers become dangerous and many lose their lives during the stormy weather. Parja women wear saris, but a lot of the children under 10 have little clothing. Even the adults have only one piece of cloth to wrap around their waist. During the cold winter months, they have to gather wood from the forest to burn at night in an effort to keep warm. When the local church workers first surveyed the area, They saturated the villages with their prayers. Soon the Lord began to open the hearts of the people in one village after another. The Parja people in Orissa, India have been engaged, but there are still over 400,000 Parja people yet to be reached. However, a long journey always begins with the first step, and the first step has been made into the Parja group. Now Christian leaders have begun praying for 22 other people groups in the state of Orissa, and now 2 more of them have just been selected and engaged. The prayer of these leaders is that all of the 310 unengaged, unreached people groups of India will soon be selected and engaged, just like the Parja people group.